Welcome to What If We Can Change It All, the podcast.
A podcast created by Movement.medicine.
My name is Shadisa.
And my name is Janina.
We believe that we have the power and therefore we can change it all.
This podcast is all about reclaiming your power.
Welcome to our next episode. Today we are here with Janneke from the Recharge House, and we actually didn't meet in person, but we are very curious to know more about you, to have a conversation with you, and to learn more about your journey actually, as we had some glimpse in your journey, and I think it's very important to share this as well with the world. Can you tell us a bit more about who you are and your company?
Okay, thank you, and thank you for having me. No, actually, we didn't meet, but I think it will be next time when you go to Ibiza. I'm the founder of Recharge House, and Recharge House, it's a company. It really helps you to connect with your unique self, with your blueprint. I guide people to really travel from the head to the body, because I really believe that in your body you have your unique wisdom and you have the Asian wisdom where you can tap into. So I do that on Ibiza, on one-on-one sessions, also develop a program to connect with people a little bit more days. That's it. I think that's the base of it. Yeah.
And how did you, what was the point that you thought, okay, I really want to tap into this? How did that evolve for you?
Okay, well, it's, I was a lawyer before for 6.5 years. So I lived in Amsterdam, I worked in Amsterdam, and it was nice. I had nice colleagues, and it was okay, but it was on Sunday evening, I really felt I was starting getting nervous, and I felt my body a little bit going like this, something is off. It doesn't feel really right for me. I didn't really listen to it. So I just, worked. And then at some point, I had a lot of stress and I came into a burnout. And then I realized, whoa, I didn't listen to my body. I was really operating from here, just going, working. So I decided to I started to meditate. I started to do yoga a little bit. And then I met different people crossed my path, which did interesting things like energy work or energetic therapeutical work. So I started to do courses and stuff like that. And then I really traveled back to when I was young, when I was little. And then I realized that I was always really interested in psychic gifts and everything what we really can see, or not everybody can see it, not the physical world but more the world around it. I thought, well, when I was little I really liked this, I should dive deeper into that. So that's how it evolved a little bit.
Beautiful.
I think it's interesting how I think a lot of people can, or at least I can, resonate with that. At some point you feel like something is off and something is not really working out. And this can be in every area of your life, right? And you're just feeling and you're hearing the voice, but you're actually not acting from it, right? You're just still going. And then at some point your body just starts screaming and you need to do something and you need to change. And I think this is mostly a crucial point to really listen and change and find what's really in alignment with your path. And as you shared, from that point, there were a lot of things coming your way, right? And this happens a lot, and I think we forget about this. We're often so much in the fear and don't daring to take the step. But then at some point when we try, we actually feel and see that, yes, maybe there's this harder or this part where there's a lot of fear and a lot of scarcity, but then at some point you can let go and a lot comes in. And I think this is beautiful that you also share this in your way, in your journey, how that happened.
Mm.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly like that, and what you're saying, sometimes it's scary because you feel that the old is not working, but you don't know what's yet to come, you don't know the
Yeah.
new. So you're a little bit in sort of a twilight zone, I call it. Like I'm in a sort of bubble, and maybe I don't even know yet, I don't know who I am. I don't know, the old me is not really working. What's the new me? And it's a really interesting phase, to be in and to just surrender, because, life is really working with you, trying to show you the path. So yeah, it's scary, but I think it's the only way to grow and to be really your unique self. To show up in the world.
Yeah.
Mm.
And what I also like, this is maybe just a jump into something else, but what I also liked is that you shared that you did a lot of courses, and what you shared with us is that you actually at some point strengthened the healer within you and connecting more with your healing abilities as well, right? And not just all the courses that you did. And I think that's so important too, as we can learn a lot, but if you're just doing what we learn, it's a different way. I mean, it can still work, but it's a different way of healing than when we put our own magic in there as well. Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's interesting that you bring that up. Because, I believe that as a therapist or as a healer or as an energy worker, it's really important that people can feel safe, that you know how to hold space. And that comes with knowledge and it comes with wisdom. But you don't need all the papers, you have it inside yourself. And to be honest, how I started, and that didn't happen overnight. I was still a lawyer in the week, during the week, and then in the weekends I didn't even have a massage table or something like that. So I just put like friends and people on my kitchen table in my kitchen, just with a lot of pillows and stuff like that. And I just say, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but for sure I know that I can help you to relax. So please, can I practice with you? And I think that's really powerful, because then you start to learn and see that things are moving, that things are working, and it helps you for confidence, and it helps you to, okay, maybe I don't have all these papers, and maybe I didn't do this since I was, I don't know, 16 or something like that. But it's already inside of me, waiting to open up. So I think both is really important, but I think that what you are saying, that it's the most important thing is that everybody has their own frequency. And I think if you can work with your frequency, you find your own gift, your own talent, because there are a lot of people who work with energy. But if you find your own core, your frequency, it's something different, and people feel that. And I guess you cannot learn that with a Reiki course or a Shambhala course. It's here and here. So yeah. Like
I love
that.
I really love that. And also what you said about like frequency, right? Because although a lot of people don't even notice it, but how important is it actually, right? Even if you have no idea what frequencies are and how vibrations work and the whole thing, you can still feel, oh, but this person really gives me something else, or this person is really aligned with me. And then we actually don't know why. And then when you start to understand how everything works, you're like, oh, we're just like literally on the same wavelength, or like really feeding off of each other, right? I think that's so important and often misunderstood in a way, but we actually really deep down know exactly how it works without expressing it in words. We can feel.
Yeah, like that. Beautiful. And also, I think that what you're saying, like, not everybody maybe knows about frequency, or is it's something vague, because you cannot see it. Like, it's not like, oh, I have a book, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna do this course. It doesn't work like that. So but I think it's also, our society is really based on knowledge. People, children, when they go to school, everything is about knowledge, about learning here. And so we really grew up with that idea that all the wisdom comes from outside, and when you integrate it, you can work. But it works for me at least, it works the other way around. It starts here and then it comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a shame sometimes that we. It's not a topic, but it's a shame sometimes that we grew up that way, right? And that we kind of blocked our own wisdom and our own knowledge, and that we. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also a beautiful journey that we can refine it and that we can go on that journey. But also, how amazing would it be if we never blocked that and that we are also in touch with who we are and what we want?
Yeah. That would be amazing, but we still have time. There are still
Exactly.
there are children who, we can help them with, integrating it from the beginning instead of, getting a lot of blockages. And then I don't know, when you're in your 20s or something like that, you think, okay, let's get out of this. Let's get rid of all these. No, I think that the children, the babies who are born right now, they're very lucky because they already are in a different field, different energy.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
You can go. You were inhaling, so I know you want to say something.
You shared something about having skin cancer and the journey around that, and I think I can imagine it's a beautiful story to share here, and how it also maybe influences you or your journey with healing and your company and how you are in the world right now.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I think the skin cancer, it happened actually when I was a lawyer, just at the same time as my burnout. So it was just really a sign, like, you don't feel good in your skin. I don't feel good in my skin. I don't feel safe. And it was quite an aggressive one. So I went to how do you say that in English? Dermatoloog. The doctor who checks your skin and stuff like that. And then she said, well, it's quite serious because if we wait longer, it can go into your whole system. But she said, I guess you're right on time. And then I thought, like, okay, I know everything will be all right, but what if not? I was sitting on my couch at home and I was like, okay, I know I will be fine. I just know I will be fine. But what if that is not the case? What if they say, okay, well, it's really aggressive and you have a few months, what would I do? So it was really a turning point and quite scary, but also really motivating in a way, because it really helped me realize that you can go off your path a little bit and that's fine, but if you go totally the wrong way, then your body will tell you, like you were saying, like your body first it whispers and then it starts to scream. So my body was screaming, stop it, stop it. So it was really a big turning point. And now, for example, when I work with people, this really helps me to gain the wisdom that your body tells you which way to go, but also that you can heal yourself. Because I know for sure if I just saw it as a skin cancer and I thought, okay, well, let's remove this, let's do the operation, and I just go back to the office and do my thing, for sure I had to do it another time. I think it will, it will come back again, the skin cancer. So it really helps me when I work with people to to guide them that if something is going on in your body, that there's always a way out and that you have to strengthen yourself. And some people have like really tough lessons, and not everybody maybe takes the change, but you can do it. And I think that's the thing I learned from this journey, and also how super important is it to be your authentic self, because I was not being my authentic self. I was really in a masculine energy, as a lawyer, and I had this like I was wearing gray suits and it's totally not me. And also I didn't want to show, all my clothes were like this so that you didn't see my female body, because I really want to be the strong strong lawyer, really masculine energy. But that's not me, you know. I have both in myself. So yeah, I guess that's the story behind it. And now I'm super, super, super grateful. And I'm now living on an island where the sun is shining like almost every day and really hard. And I'm just enjoying it without using sunscreen because I just know that I won't get skin cancer again because I know I changed my behavior and my pattern. So, yeah.
And do you remember what you did do with the fear?
What I did do with the fear?
Yeah.
Well, I was really feeling it. And I was not able in the beginning to see the bigger picture. No, not in the beginning. It was really like, this is it. This is it, you know. And although there was a little voice like, it's a lesson, you know, you will come out of this. It was still, because also people, for example, my parents or family were reacting also like, oh God, what's happening? You know, how does this go? And even like months later, people saying, oh, are you fully recovered? Is it coming back? So there was a lot of fear-based energy. And that's not the responsibility of other people. That's my responsibility. But because there was also a lot of fear-based energy in myself, I resonated with it.
Yeah.
And then I just sit with it. I try to feel it, let it be. And now I know that emotions are important, but you don't have to, you know, dive all the way into it. I don't believe. But then at that point, I thought like, oh my God, it's scary. It's scary. I don't know how to get out of this. So yeah, I was really into the fear-based energy. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that you, alongst the fear, that you also felt like this deeper understanding within that you actually have the power, but also to actually transform that for yourself, right? Because you could, like, I can imagine it was not like in the first week or maybe even in the first month, but in the end you could see, okay, but there's a gift here. There's a learning here that I can actually absorb and like let it work for me instead of like me fighting the cancer in my head only and like only feeding off the fear, right? And I think that is something really important also that shows like you are never your emotions. Your emotions are there, they are signs, but you are never your emotions. And that's where you take the power back. So I think that's really huge and something really important also for other people to hear because that's just how it works.
Yeah, but it's beautifully said. Like, take your power back. I guess it's so important. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so or am I interrupting
No,
you?
go ahead.
And just and what is so important is that I believe that all the change start in the energetic field, you know, in the field around you, and then it comes in the material world. So if you start to change, you know, your energy and your vibration, then, you know, it takes sometimes some time because the density is different, of course, of all these layers. But it changes in the material field, it changes in the energy field, and then it changes in the material field. So also in your body and also that little piece of skin, but it has to start, you know, in your vibration. Yeah.
Yeah, and indeed it can take some time, and that's okay too. I think this is also something we sometimes forget. We have to have it now, and it needs to be healed now. And
That's very the masculine energy.
yes, and I mean, we also still have that, and that's
course.
also okay. I mean, it's also a human thing, but also we can also allow ourselves the time, right, or the situation or whatever is there. So, yeah, I think it's beautiful that you highlighted that as well.
Yeah. Mm.
You want to say anything?
I thought I'd make it bigger for you in the meantime.
Maybe we can go a bit more into making bold choices and going for what you want. I think leaving corporate world and also like having all this physical awareness coming can, well, in the end, lead it to you making a bold choice, right, and changing your life basically.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
How did you navigate maybe through that?
How did I navigate through that? Well, it's again the body who was communicating with me, and when I started to feel like, for example, when I left the law firm, and when I thought, okay, I'm just really gonna focus on the energy work, I did make the choice, but I also gave myself some time to process it, So what I said, like I worked during the week, I was a lawyer, and in the weekends, I started to become a healer. But making internally the choice, really make the choice for yourself, but give yourself some space, some slack to let the material world go with you. But it's okay if that takes some time, to say so. But for example, an example, when I moved to Ibiza from Amsterdam, I already felt that there was no choice, I really needed to go. And it was also scary because I thought, oh, this island, there are a lot of people doing energy work. How am I going to live here? It's not the most cheap place in the world. How are we going to do that? So for me, it was really just go. And then you can say to yourself, you can always come back. I always said you can always come back, and you can always become a lawyer again. You can always go back to Amsterdam. And I know it's a little bit, I would say it's self-fulfilling prophecy, because I knew I wasn't going to do that. But sometimes it really helps a little bit, that you say, okay, like you're talking to like a little child or your inner child, like, okay, we go for this. I'm going to make you really happy. But know that you can always come back if it's too much. So I think that really helped me. And yeah, but just go, and don't be afraid to let go of someone or something. Because when you feel it's not ready for you, there's always something bigger and greater. And I really believe that the universe is working with me, and not, that I have to learn like a lot of difficult lessons and then I die. Okay, we have some lessons, but it's really important that the universe is trying to show you your path. But if you don't show the universe what you want, then she cannot work with you. Mm-hmm. So take the step, go. And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not know it. It's okay if you make a decision and then you go back and then you make the decision again, that's totally okay. But really, for example, I had this week an example. It was really difficult. I had a beautiful collaboration, really beautiful, but I felt something was off because I need to focus a little bit more on my own path. And then I made a decision to say goodbye to the collaboration. And it was scary because it was also beautiful and I learned a lot. But when I did that, my own practice, I got like 5 clients more this week and everything started to move and to grow. But you first have to make the step. And then the universe will say, good job, thank you. Okay, here's your present. So that's how I navigate through the whole process of making choices and leaving behind things or people.
Yeah, the universe gives us like these little nuggets, right, of ideas or like feelings that we actually feel like, okay, I feel in my body that I need to do this, and I feel in my head also that I need to do this, but there's like, oh no, it's too scary, or no, it's too big, right? And if we like go for that, for those little nuggets, we see, oh, but they're actually like, there's so much more opening up for me. And we also talked about this with another guest, like every no brings you closer to your yes, right? And it really works that way. Because the power of decision is like so big, is as soon as you decide something, you get those little nuggets because you're not in that in-between phase anymore. You can really go for what you want, right? And I think exactly what you said, like the universe is working with you. It's never working against you. And if it's working against you, you feel like it's working against you, it's there for like lessons or things that, oh, maybe you need to look at this first and then you will be ready. So I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think we're often so afraid to say no to something or to say yes when we don't feel it. And I mean, it happens a lot and we also do it, so it's not a judgment at all. But like when we really start to listen what we want and also communicate that, then indeed, then the 5 new clients come in, right? And you don't even have to work for it. So it's really, if you really dare to step into your full alignment with what you are, what you want, then it just comes to you. And it's so scary, it feels so scary in the beginning, but actually, I mean, it can feel scary, but actually it isn't if you truly dare to, if that makes sense. It's a bit contradicting, but think about it.
Totally. And I think it's also important to learn to see the difference between is this fear-based energy because it's a little bit, my ego thinks, oh, I'm letting go of something, I don't know what's to come. Is that the reason? Or is it could also be fear-based energy because it's really not good for you, So the difference between these two, I think it's important to see that, and then you can make a choice.
Yeah, we just say like play around with it. At a certain point, your intuition is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. You can kind of see, okay, this is fear, just a fear. This is fear because it's actually a no. Yeah, I think that's also something really important too. Good that you tapped into that. Oh, Siri wants to join the party.
Oh, hello. There's some energy coming in.
She was agreeing.
But indeed, it's
funny.
It's about also, I guess, like somehow, like listening to this whole conversation. It's really about having compassion, right? It's about having compassion towards time, towards your journey, towards like redeveloping the intuition muscle, to like all of it, like having the compassion towards yourself, and then these little nuggets, these little signs will all come in. And I think like the main magic what was in between all that we shared now was compassion somehow.
Allowing yourself the time.
Being gentle.
And it, I think, and also for when you work with clients, and it's so important to teach them about compassion. Beautiful that you bring that up, because it does not work if we go like this, through our journey, because the universe and energy, it's like this, and it flows. And that's a very important thing.
I know we kind of tapped into it already a bit, but what would be your ultimate tip for the listeners?
Oh yeah, we already. Well, for me, I think the ultimate tip is make the bold, the brave choice. Do it, because what's there to lose? You can always come back. You can always go back, and I really believe if more and more people start to make the choices from their true, authentic self, from their own blueprint, I think that the world is already a beautiful place, but then it will be even more magical because people will tap into their own talents and gifts because they're on the right path. So please go for it. Please go for it, and it's okay to be afraid. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So, how can people find you?
I have an Instagram page where I share, I share also some videos, mostly in Dutch, to be honest, but I will switch a little bit that about my process and my journey. And also a new program for next year. It's going to be a retreat program on Ibiza. The website, chargehouse.nl, so you can see some reviews about how I work and the experience. And people can always send a message and just, get in touch.
And maybe for our listeners, because you're in Ibiza, do you also do things online, or do you only do in-person things?
Most thing is first an in-person session and then an online integration. But I do work with distant healing. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Good to know for everyone. And otherwise, you just have to come to Ibiza because it's amazing.
Yeah, you know it too, right? Next time we see each other, for sure.
We will also share our details in the little bio thingy on Spotify and YouTube, so everyone can make sure to find you. I guess that's it already.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey, for sharing your wisdom, and for hopping on with us. We enjoyed it a lot, right?
Yeah, we did. No, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and thank you all for listening again, and we will see you next week.
Bye bye.
Thank you.